I've probably designed like a dozen computing products, and I would say 2 are really successful, and maybe 6 were reasonably successful, and there was a bunch of duds. I'll tell you my first failure product was interesting. I was at Grid. We had done the tablet computer, right? Which was a stylus paste, and we're selling it to commercial, like people, insurance adjusters and things like that. And then Microsoft decided that this was a new area, and they created Windows for pen computing. Whenever Microsoft saw a new area, they just would say Windows for that area, and that would be it. And they still do that to this day. I don't know if you noticed that. So they were creating all this kind of FUD and fear, uncertainty, doubt, and all this kind of noise. And so I had this idea. I said, look, I have a great idea. I'll create a convertible notebook type. It was a laptop. It was like a convertible laptop, which is what we see today. It was the very first one. It was actually a very nice design. It was called the Grid Convertible, actually. And it came out in like 1990 or 1990, maybe, something like that, 81. And it had this display. It was like a laptop where the display kind of was facing up, and then it would fold. It had this like double hinge. It was really cool action. And it had a keyboard, and so you could use the stylus with the keyboard. And so it was a regular laptop plus a tablet computer. So we could sell it to our tablet customers, and they wouldn't have to worry about Microsoft and all this kind of stuff. Well, it was a well-executed product. It was beautiful design, and I thought it was a great idea, and it was a failure. And the reason we learned it was a failure it had to do with the fact that in the laptop market, people didn't want any compromises. And so they basically, when you pick a laptop, some people say, I want it thin, I want this, I want this, or this, this. And we were offering just one product, and it didn't fit for everybody, and it was a little bit thicker, and they just didn't want that combination. So now it's interesting. So years later, when Microsoft, apparently Bill Gates, got so excited about doing these tablet computers, I'm saying to myself, this is never going to be a big business, and because I knew inherently it isn't. Now, they did introduce them, and they've sold a bunch, but they haven't really taken off. I mean, the convertible laptops have not been a big market. This incredible amount of money and effort put into it, but very few people have one. Does anyone in the room have here one? A convertible laptop? No. So when they made this launch Microsoft made the launch a whole new convertible stuff a few years ago, I said, this is going to fail. I've been there, I've done that. I'll give you other failures. The Zoomer I mentioned was the first product at Palm, was a failure. The first product we did at Handspring was the interesting failure and success. 2 failures and a success, I'll tell you why. This was the Handspring Visor. And the Visor was a low-end, fun, colorful PDA. And it had this feature called an expansion slot in the back called the Springboard expansion slot. So you could plug in radios and all kinds of cool widgets you plug into the thing. So the Visor was a huge success. We sold millions right out the chute. We had 2 failures with it. The first failure is that we were a pioneer in online retailing. We said, we're going to do this online retailing stuff, right? So we created an online retailing website, and we designed the whole thing. And we got a gazillion orders literally the first day. I mean, we announced this Visor, and we were taking in tens of thousands an hour of orders. Now, the system kept up with it, but the system got confused, and it mixed up all the orders. And we started shipping wrong products to people. People who paid us, we didn't ship many products. People who bought 1 product, they'd get 3. And this was a disaster. It was a total disaster. I could use some less kind words on it, but we'll just leave it that way, right? And so what do? Right? Launching your company, launching your product, everything is falling apart. You got customers who paid you money, are getting charged over and over again. You haven't got any product. The people get the wrong product. I mean, people, thank you for sending me 3. I only wanted 1. So what we did is we took everybody in the company, including myself, everybody, and we took a list of everybody who ever bought a product, who ordered, and we called up everyone individually. We said, did you get the product you wanted? And they said, no, I got 3. I said, you happy? He said, yes, keep them. I said, the next person, did you get the product you wanted? No, I'm furious. I haven't gotten it yet. I said, what would you want? I said, I'm going to send it to you tomorrow. And we did that for every single customer and call them everyone up. And we got through that. That was a big mistake. And then the other thing was when you start a company, I mentioned earlier, you always have crap hits the fan. When we started Handspring, I said, something's going to happen. I know it. Something's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen. And we didn't anticipate that was it, but that was it. We said, all right, something happened. Then the other thing that was an interesting failure about the Visor was this Springboard expansion slot. Actually, we promoted it. We got people to build all these things to plug in. It was very cool. We had people building pedometers and various types of radios and pagers and so on. It was very successful. All these companies built these Springboard expansion modules. However, they didn't sell any. People just didn't want to buy the expansion modules. They just bought the visor, and they liked the idea. People liked the idea of expansion. So, I really like the expansion slide. And we would say, did you buy an expansion slide? No. I liked the idea. So that was a failure, and we had to some point sit back and say, we're going to abandon that, even though we promoted it as this big thing, We had to say, oh, give up on that, So that was a bit difficult.